So hello again. Here I am with the second of two journals. Again, these are for a sale in my Etsy shop, and it has been a while since I have done a video, and it's been at least a year since I've done a journal. And as I mentioned in the last video, I've wanted to try something totally new, and so I've done one of these tall, skinny journals. I think that's what they're called. And so anyway, I just want to go ahead. We'll just get started. My husband has told me he'll try and be a little bit quieter than he was in the last one. It's kind of funny. So let's go ahead. It's about 4.5 inches, a little less. Well, this one's a little less, about 4.25 inches wide and 11 inches tall, and it is one signature. I have some more decorator fabric that I used that I love the fabric, and I used this piece of sari silk. I've just used this old vintage pin that I have. I'm just going to pull him out there. Go ahead and put him aside. And just tie here. I've put in a generous amount here of the thing. So if you would like to use that sari for something else, feel free. This is, I don't know if you can see all the design on there. It's just beautiful. It's like a tapestry. I have the door open so you can hear the katydids in the background, and they are having a field day in Alabama this year. But my air conditioning went out, so it's in the process of being repaired. So here's this, and then this is some antique lace. It's like cotton crocheted, and this is 2 pieces that I just did back to back. I just love it. So let's go ahead and open him up. Him, her, whatever. Now this, I had mentioned in, this was actually the first of the 2 journals that I made, and then the other one came about because I had made too much ephemera to fit in the book. But this one uses this, part of this contract that I was talking to you about. It was, it's from a contract that was about 200 years ago, and it was done on parchment. This is like animal parchment, and this is how we have so much history today, because they put this on this parchment that lasts forever. I mean, you can't literally, you can take a piece and try and tear it and it won't tear. I mean, I imagine if you tried to rip, you know, really strong, it would come apart. But if you just take it and try and rip it like that, it will not happen. And it's a huge contract. It's several pages big, and it's about, like, you know, 24 by 24 probably. And it has some old wax seals on it. It's so neat. And finally I made myself, all right, use it. Start using it. So I did. This is the first time I've used it, and it's just beautiful. The handwriting, and that is the original piece there. And I've also used it along the spine there, you can see there. And I've done some decorative stitching here. And got a little velvet tuck up here, and this is a smaller version of a fan that was in the other one, and I just think they're so neat. This is from the Graphics Fairy, their premium site. They have so many neat things on there, and I thought that would be sweet just to kind of tuck him up there. And let's see, let's just get started. This is a piece of ribbon that I had, and I got this at Hobby Lobby, but it was kind of bright, and on a whim I thought, well, what have I got to lose? So I took some of this gold. It's called Ceramica. Just a moment, I want to show you what I've done here. Pull it out and show what kind it is. And I also wanted to show you, oh yes, here we go. Sorry about this. Okay, so what I did, this is, what is it? Metallic gold, and it's Ceramica. And I thought, well, it's not hard at all. And I just took a paintbrush and dabbed it in and just put it on top of the ribbon. And it worked beautifully. It kind of calmed it down and gave it a much richer look. And the same piece The same with this little piece here. It was from a broken necklace, I believe. And again, it was very bright. And I thought, well, in for a penny, in for a pound. Go ahead and try the gold on this too. And it did. It worked beautifully. I just painted it on. And then I kind of buffed it to make sure that it wouldn't come off on anything. And I was really pleased with that look. It would also work on any papers, really. Here we go. This is some more of that blue paper design that it was a scrap piece, and I love it. I wasn't about to throw any of it away. This is from Tailor-Made Journals, and I think you're going to see some more of that later on. And I did a tag here, that beautiful green and gold ribbon. And the two ladies that inspired me to do these journals are Annette, my friend Annette in North Carolina. She had, I bought a one of these tall, skinny journals from her about a year ago, and I love it. I fell in love with it. And I thought, I want to do that. I want to do that. And well, I hemmed and hawed, and life kept getting in the way, but I finally did it. So Annette, thank you for being patient with me. And also another lady that I'm inspired to is Sharon Harth, and I'll put her link below as well. She has some just fabulous journals that she's done. It's one of those, when I grow up, I want to make journals like her, but I'm past growing up now, so I'm just trying to learn as I go, and she has some fabulous ideas, and she's done some tutorials, so amazing. She kind of thinks outside the box when she's putting journals together, and that meant a lot to me because I've gotten kind of tired of what I've been doing. So I've learned a lot from just watching her videos and asking her questions and stuff. Lovely lady. And like I said, some just fabulous journals. So here we have, these are mostly digital kits that I've used. If I can remember some of them, I will put those in the comments below, or a link below rather. Oh, I forgot to show you this, duh. This is here, but it opens up. So I like to write. And so I wanted to make sure that everyone had plenty of writing space. I just used a little bit of seam binding ribbon there, and a little piece of ephemera, and a little piece here, and it just folds up like that. And this, at first, I put this down, and then when I went back, I thought, oh, that's a pocket. Well, no, I glued it down. I didn't want a pocket there. So I thought, well, it looks kind of plain. So then I put this William Morris piece of ephemera on it, and then this is a faux wax seal. And I just love that paper. I've used a lot of I call it wallpaper collage. I don't know what else you'd call it, but anyway. Here is this is also from where did I get this? Oh, this is a digital kit. And I printed it on some matte photo paper so that it's like cardstock, and then I backed it here with this. But I really like because it gives that shine, but not too glossy. So again, that's photo paper, but it's a matte finish. And I've just taken this little jewelry piece here, and I've done some decorative stitching around the edge. I just thought that was really neat. Done some stenciling here, plenty of writing space, as you can see. This is, isn't that beautiful? I think that's William Morris, if I'm not mistaken. And I've just put a little bit of fabric there, a little cluster. Here, I see I've kind of wrinkled it, but anyway, these are little tiny Tim Holtz clips. And I've just given you plenty of room for writing space, and you can see where I've used some more of that Ceramica, just to kind of highlight the page, the little gold. And then this comes down here. This is used to be a shawl that I purchased at a thrift shop, I believe, and it had a hole in it. And I was like, perfect, I can use that. See if I can get this on without too much trouble. Here is just a card. Now this is an antique bit of passementerie. It's a little velvet flower and little what they're buds, I guess is what you would call them, and that's from a corsage from like the 1950s. And I've just use it. I thought it would be nice to write on. Beautiful paper here. This is a wax seal that I did, and I just put a little bit of this fringy scrap there. See if I can get this on here. This is a little pocket that I've created using a doily and just a piece of antique music paper. This was a song done in German. I have no idea what it says. I just know it's German. And I've just created a little pocket, and I've just tucked each side in underneath and then just made a pocket. This is a digital kit, and I'll put that link below. This is another one I like because it didn't have anything below, so you can write on this. You can write on the front and the back. I printed it on vellum, and I just love the, what do you call it? The drawings, the artwork on here. I just think it's so cool. And there were several different ones, different colors. This one's in that reddish burgundy tone, and there were some blue and green, and I just think it is so neat. And again, you can write on this. I tested it out myself. So, and then these are 2 authentic pieces of ephemera. These came from an old, you can tell from the back, what do you call it? A scrapbook from like 1910. And I just very carefully, the scrapbook was falling apart, but I very carefully removed as much as I could, and I just think that's neat. And this is an old advertisement. I think that came, yes, from the same one. And it's Mast, Crowell, and Kirkpatrick, Springfield, Ohio. I just thought that was really neat to be able to use those. Let's see if I can get it back in here without too much trouble. It is a little fiddly because you have to get past the flaps, but it's fun. Well, no, can't do it, so I'm not going to mess with it. We'll just leave those there. This beautiful page, and I've just, you can write on this. You just need a stronger, bolder colored pen. That's with any of the collage sheets. I didn't realize that writing would show up so well, but again, you do have to use a strong, you know, not a pale ink pen, but like a stronger one. And this little piece, I got this idea from Sharon Hearth. I think I'm saying that right. I hope I'm saying it right. And I've just put some vintage buttons here, and that one has its original thread in it. Usually I put thread in these, but obviously I didn't on that one. And this is a piece of napkin that I decoupaged, and I had a little piece left, and I thought, perfect, we'll just put it right there. And I got that idea from Sharon. She has a YouTube video on how to do beautiful napkins, and again, it strengthens them. It makes it so it's like stiff and much more resilient. Let me see if I can find a quick piece for you. I was just in awe of how it worked. Yeah, here we go. And again, this is just using collage. This is a mixture of glue. This is some of it. That was a brown napkin, but you can see the design in there. I'm not as good as Sharon is. There we go. Isn't that beautiful? And you can, it makes a great piece, kind of like a conversation piece. And what works best is if you have napkins that are mostly white or have a white background, then you can really see how it works. See, that would just go right there if you wanted. So again, that's doing a mixture of glue and water on napkins. And let's see, here we have a little piece here. I've just cut it out, and I've gone around the edges with gold. Oh, and there's another thing of gold that you can use, and I talked about the Cerantica that you actually paint on if you want. This, however, is done by an ink pad. It's sold at Hobby Lobby. I think it's their house brand, if you will, and it's gold colored. They don't even have a name of the gold on it, but you look at it and it's gold. And again, I got that. It's much less expensive, and all of the Hobby Lobbies, I believe, carry it. I got that idea from my friend Annette, and I just literally took the pad and the piece of paper and just kind of, did like this all over it. Didn't even stamp it on with a brush or anything. I just went over it with the pad itself, and it gives that beautiful old gold look to everything, and I loved it. So, again, thank you, Annette. This is beautiful design here. I've just put one of those faux wax seals on it, and this I printed on tracing paper. Yes, you can print on tracing paper, and yes, you can write on it. It was just really a fun thing to do. And I like it because it's thin, so you can get more stuff in. Because we all know I have a problem with making too much ephemera. Here we have just a little fabric snippet that I've created using bits and pieces there. And here I did some stenciling. It's not my best effort. I'm still learning, but that's with texture paste. Now, that's what they call it in polite circles, texture paste. It's spackling compound. I kid you not, it is spackling compound. I'm going to show you what I've used because it's much cheaper than texture paste, and it works beautifully. This is another tip I learned from Annette, and it's DAP, fast and final, lightweight spackling, and it dries really quick, fast drying, no sanding, won't sink or shrink. Won't sink? Well, I don't intend to submerge it, but it won't shrink either. It's amazing stuff. It's very lightweight, and again, not Hobby Lobby, Home Depot. They're the ones that carry that, and I'm amazed at it. I'm really pleased with it. And you can see here that I did several at a retreat that I gave in January. It was funny. I was learning how to do this. Annette had taught me, but I had never practiced it. So at my retreat, sweet friend Darlene was there, and she said, "Well, I know how to do it." And she literally sat beside me. And I think that was the only thing that got me to actually do it. So thank you, Darlene, for pushing me in that and making me create this. I had so much fun, but the owner came in at one point, and he just, said hello. He had to go through our area to get to another area. And I said, "Oh, we're learning spackling. I'm learning spackling." And he looked at me, and I thought, oh my gosh, he probably thinks I'm spackling his walls or something. His whole face was just an interesting study. So I just kind of laughed, and I said, "Don't worry, we're not doing your walls. We're just keeping it on cardstock." And he just laughed. So anyway, but that is texture paste or spackling, whatever you want to call it. This is a beautiful card that I got from Annette. She had done some collage and just cut it up in different pieces. You see she's done different papers and napkins and done this writing here. I don't know if that's a stamp or what, but I just love it. And I just added that little piece of fabric there. And this piece is embossed, and this is on craft paper, just simple craft paper, nothing fancy. And I loved the way it came out, and I've just distressed it, but I wanted to show you something. Here's a piece that what it looked like before I added the distressing. So it's kind of plain, but now this is the piece that I really love. This is what Sharon Harth did in one of her videos. She has a YouTube video about it. It looks like leather, and it feels like leather. And this is beeswax, and I love it. I was so amazed. You cannot write on this. I didn't want to back it or anything. I just wanted to leave this. I may eventually put this in, or I may just save this for myself. But I just love it. And again, that is craft paper, and it's beeswax melted onto there. And as I mentioned in my last video, I was doing this about a month or so ago, and I did a video about it. And I had the doors open because it was springtime, so beautiful outside. And bees were all over the place, and I'm like, what is going on? I mean, we have a lot of bees here because we have a lot of plants and flowers and stuff that my husband loves to garden. I hate it, but he loves it. And I was like, they've never come inside the studio. Well, finally, brain dead here, it finally dawned on me that, oh, it's because of the beeswax. They want to know what you're doing with beeswax. So, note to self, do not keep the doors open when you are using or melting beeswax. You will get visitors. So, a little bit more of the texture paste slash spackling. I'm still learning, but I had fun playing with it. Did some stamping here, more stamping here, and this is just a little tuck spot that I put in there. Excuse me. This, oh, I love this. This is a frame that came, I believe, from Graphics Fairy, and I was finally able to use some my dandelion puffballs is what I call them. It is very difficult to catch a dandelion puffball and frame it on top of that. So I learned how, I think it was about a year or two ago, and then I just put them all aside. But what you do is I use acetate. You have the acetate ready in place and cut to the size that you want it, not large pieces, but smaller pieces. And you go out, and hopefully the day is not windy at all, and you find your puffballs, usually in the springtime, I believe. Yes, springtime. And you pick the puffball and very carefully and quickly bring it inside your studio. You don't lay it down, because then, of course, all the puffiness falls off. But you lay it gently on top of the acetate, one layer, and then you quickly put another piece of acetate on top of it. And then you either glue it together or you can sew it or whatever. But that's how you capture a real dandelion puffball. I did several of them, but I just, for whatever weird reason, I hadn't done anything with them. I have like several pieces. They're all captured in the acetate, but duh. So this is the first one. I was very pleased with it. And again, that frame just really sets it off. Oh goodness, I'm getting a little carried away here. Okay, some old lace here. I love that. That was given to me, I think Darlene gave me that. Beautiful. And that beautiful digital prints. I just love them. And that's a little card. Is that Monet? I can't remember. Anyway, here is, I roughed this up so that it would look nice and old. So I did the edges. And what I discovered, there is a little tool that you can use to rough up the edges, but it didn't quite rough them up enough. So what I did was use my craft knife. Now, I know that sounds kind of crazy, but it worked perfectly. I just came along here and just kind of played with a craft knife because it's sharp, and it would make all of these little bits and pieces here. But it really made it look nice and old, I thought. And then I highlighted it. You can see some of that gold, and that's from that stamp pad at Hobby Lobby. This is a wax seal that I made, and I put some of that Sarantica gold on top of it to get, it was a little bit bright, and I wanted it duller. And just some seam binding here. Plenty of writing space. Gosh, that was fun. Put him here. Oh, no, we need to come up this way, otherwise the ribbon will be all over the place. And then this one is a digital print, and that is, again, printed on tracing paper. And you can write on the reverse. I was amazed at how easily it was to actually write on it. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Gold velvet ribbon from Hobby Lobby. Some stenciling here. And this is another piece that I made using the beeswax that I was telling you about earlier. And this was a large rectangle. Let me take these things off. Large rectangle doily. And I got the idea from Sharon of putting it in the center of a signature. And because it's so large, I had to fold it up. And again, that's an idea from Sharon as well. And I was just really impressed. But what it does, it makes it it feels, oh goodness, waxy, I suppose. It is beeswax, but it also makes it much stronger. And I just folded them over and used it as a center. These are original pieces of ephemera that came from an old scrapbook about 1910, I believe. And this is just a page from a book. And I put this, this came, believe it or not, from a shower curtain. Beautiful shower curtain, sheer, and I just cut out around it. It has some beautiful bold looking flowers on it, but I just wanted this piece here. And it turned out really, really well. I was very impressed with it. Whoops, get back in there, you. And in this one, I just did a little notepad here of scraps. This is a great way to use up those scraps. I had apparently done a project where I needed a certain size because these were all this wide, and I just wrapped a piece of fabric around it, did some decorative stitching, added this little button thingy. I think it came from a piece of jewelry and it worked perfect. Just kept that there. I love these little tiny things. It works when you, I tried using one of these paper clips, larger and small, and it kept wanting to interfere with it because it's so fragile. And I thought, well, we'll try these. And those are from Tim Holtz. These are just some faux wax seals from a digital kit. I took this antique applique. It was actually on part of a, not a napkin, but like a dresser doily type thing, I believe. And I just cut it out, sewed around the edges to make sure that it wouldn't fray any, and then I just glued it onto the back of this. This was actually an envelope thing, and I just cut it apart, used it as digital, used it as a writing space. Love that color. More stenciling here. It's the other side of that page. I love that page. I just added this little crocheted thingy, for lack of a better word. And this, I don't think I'm gonna pull it off. Beautiful writing, and you can write over this if you want. A little bit of gold trim here. And this piece is from that kit that I told you about from Lorna at Tailor Made Journals. They're like, it's a large kit. It's like, I think 16 pages or more. I'll put the link below in the comment section, but it's beautiful because you've got this darker colored paper and then this beautiful different designs of blue. Just, oh, it's gorgeous. You just have to go and see it. Here we have a tag, and there's a little, and that is using, that's just glue actually, highlighted with gold. Just from a glue gun, can't talk. Little vintage button there, little piece of fabric and some stenciling here, and just some more fabric here. Let's see if we can get them in there. All right, come on. There we go. Okay, piece of fabric, a little bit of a piece of jewelry. I have lots of bits and bobs, and that's just one of them. I hadn't used it for ages, and I thought, aha! And this little piece is a sticker that's a stamp, but it's an actual sticker. It's not a real stamp, but I love the look of it, and I thought, right, there you go. Here we have stenciling here. This is from a die cut kit that I have. I just thought it was so pretty. Made a little pocket, chandelier, and I was thinking it needs something, and I tried everything, and finally I found this little tiny hummingbird that was from earrings, I think. And I thought, well, there you have it. So there you have it. More stenciling, or not stenciling, texture paste, or as I would like to call it, spackling compound. And this is, oh goodness, but it's texture paste, which is spackling compound. This is an original piece of ephemera. This is also from that old scrapbook that I had from, gosh, that one was like I want to say 1890s to 1900s. There are two different ones that I have that are just packed with all these pieces of ephemera, and I just loved it. And I love that gold color. I didn't do anything to that. It's that beautiful old gold. perfect little journaling spot. A little bit of fabric there from, well, it's not fabric, it's lace actually. Did some decorative stitching here. This is an original piece from a, I'm not sure where I got that. Oh, I think that came from a packet from Debbie Spencer. Thank you, Debbie. She has some beautiful items that I've been able to purchase from her, and it's just a lovely piece. You can write on the back, and of course I did a little bit of stenciling here and stamping. Beautiful, and I just put some old lace, or not old lace, it's new lace, Hobby Lobby. This is what's on the outside of the other journal I was just filming. A little bit of fabric here. I'm not going to take this off, it's empty. It's on cardstock, and it's just a piece of, it's a digital print that I printed on cardstock rather than paper, and I love it. And I've cut up the one piece. Now I've got to go find it again because I've saved it somewhere on a drive somewhere. But I just love the look of it, the graphics on it. And it's just literally folded over. So you have that one piece. I've highlighted this using some of that stamp pad from Hobby Lobby. Here I've done some stenciling. And this one, it's just like the other one here. But this one I didn't want it as a pocket, I just wanted the decoration. So I've glued it all down. This is from a digital kit, more stenciling here. And stamping. I say stenciling. This was stamping. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. This is a piece of ephemera that I just cut out and did some stitching around it. Backed it with some tea stain paper. And I did put a real stamp on it. It had a stamp printed on it, but no, I've got these stamps now, I need to use them. This one is from Malta. And that's Queen Elizabeth's father, King George. I want to say the 6th. I could be wrong. I'm not very good at remembering all of that, but that's from about the late 1930s, I believe. I just think it was neat. Lovely stamps. I just used a little bit of a jewelry piece here. This beautiful fabric came from my mother-in-law, Valerie. And the neat thing about this is the design is perfect on either side. So you can see the design there and on here. And I just love that fabric. Some stamping here. This is a piece of metallic ribbon. I believe it's antique. If not, it's at least vintage. It is literally made from metallic metal thread. And this is from a sweet friend, Kathy, that I purchased from her, and I love it. It's so neat, and I've replicated it here on this piece here. And this is part of this napkin that I showed you earlier, where I used, made it just a pocket. Oops, I didn't have that down. I had to repair him, put him glued back down. I've done some decorative stitching here. This piece, and I've used it, you can't see it as much because it's underneath this here, but it was an envelope, a large envelope, and I have never seen one like it since. It got it about a year ago. It was junk mail, and it had just the neatest look to it. I love this color. I haven't done anything to it, and it was a sheen, and it was strong. It's like cardstock. And I thought, oh, you can send me junk mail all the time, but of course never gotten any more from it, and I didn't think to save it to figure out where it came from. Anyway, such is life. This little emblem there. This is from an old ledger, and it's minutes from a meeting that took place. I bought 2 ledgers years ago, back when you could get them much cheaper. August 11th, 1913. So that's an original piece, and I just added that wax seal and some seam binding ribbon to it. I just, and space if you want. Look at the beautiful handwriting, but you can write down here if you want. I just think it's neat. And to reinforce this with the seal on it, I put some washi tape there. So I think that is it. You want it this way? Yes, we want it this way. And there it is. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have any questions at all, just leave them down in the comment section, and I will put links below of the kits that I remember that I've used. I may not remember them all because, as I said, I've used a little bit of everything on these. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a lovely afternoon. Take good care, and hopefully it won't be another year before I make another journal. Take care. Bye-bye.